law requires this body to announce at this time that a copy of the current Open Meetings Act is available at the back of the room where it is accessible to the public. Simpson.
Here.
Dermott.
Here.
Gibbon.
Here.
Erbong.
Here.
Marvin.
Here.
Yankee.
Here.
Hall.
Here. Well, President accounted for, we're here for one reason. Consider the first draft, City of Oak Ridge, 2018-19 fiscal year budget. This is what we've been waiting for all summer.
It's draft two.
Draft two.
We whizzed right on past draft. No, draft, I had draft one, which I sent to everybody. And in between then and now, Mary got me the numbers for our beginning cash balance, which look good. They're about 200 grand higher this year than, which I'm gonna say this year and last year, which I mean this fiscal year and next fiscal year is next year.
200 grand, more revenue or
Yes, higher in both the street and the general fund. I think Mary got those to me yesterday. I'm gonna start with the revenues. On the sales tax revenue, for this year, next fiscal year, I'm gonna use $1,800,000, which is $50,000 more than I used this fiscal year, last year. Right now, as of July 23rd, we were like $90,000, a little over $90,000 ahead of last year in sales tax. And if it tracks the way it has been all year, I think we're 10 months through on our sales tax, so it's going to be close to $2 million if we stay on track with what we are. Now, I upped it to 50 grand to $1.8 million, but I did not put anything in there thinking that this online sales tax, I don't know which, I think they're gonna start in July or January of next year. So not knowing anything, I just, anything we get is gonna be a plus for us, so I just kinda kept it as we've been going along with that. Property tax, I put a 2% increase in our valuation, which I wrote down here, wishful thinking. Last year was less than 9%. We won't get, we'll get it before. They don't have to give us our valuation till the 20th of this month, but I usually get it a week ahead. Melody's good about that. But it's about where I put with the 2%. We last year we had in property tax, we had $1,161,856. But the 2%, the total dollars that I've got in the budget now are $1,185,093, which is about $23,000 more than last year. Because you really don't, for an increase of percentage, you don't get a lot of money out of that. And I think, people think, oh, they're raising our taxes. There's not, as far as what we get, we don't get that much. So I'm just hoping Melody pulls through it for me. Put a good word in for me,
I've been trying.
And on the municipal equalization, and I think that's from insurance premiums. That's about the only state aid we get anymore. They've taken basically everything else away from us. Last year, it was $180,600. This year, they're projecting $237,300. That's about a 31.5% increase, which is about $56,700 more than last year. So that helped us out a little bit too. On the operating revenue, that's kind of like, gravel sales and stuff like that. We're about 81,000 more this year than last year, but a lot of that is in the operating revenue. I put the $75,000 we're gonna get from PCDC to help us pay off the bond for the ball field. So that's why it increased.
Bob, what are we gonna get a year from that on the ball fields?
I've got 75,000 in there. See, it goes for 15 years, Randy. And I think that comes out about $1.2 million. Or $1,125,000.
We still have some work to do.
Oh, we're gonna need a drive.
A generous
Yeah.
benefactor, perhaps.
Yes.
I should have, I guess, Randy, I should have brought up the drawings that we've got. Randy and I have been going to meetings with Olson's. Right now, we've got, they're drawing up plans for the building. We've let out the plans for the bids for the sewer, and Danny Kirk's got it. We're doing working on 4th Avenue. City's gonna put in the water. We got the building, the dirt work's done, the grass is growing. Cover grass is growing. So it's not going as fast as I thought it would.
It's fine though.
It's gonna be, if we get the money, I mean, the drawings we've got, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be real nice.
What's the plan on procedure? You do building next, fields next, lighting?
Yeah, we'll do, Jeff, we'll do the building with the sewer and the water. And then after that, then we'll have a meeting to decide on what we're gonna do next. We might, we've got electrical. I think the fields are probably something we want to, as far as grass, you want to do last, because we've got, you've got power running to the scoreboards, to the lights. I don't know if you can bring that around the outside and not through the fields or anything, but.
Just curious.
It's a lot of concrete work.
That'll all be bid out.
Yeah.
Concrete.
They've kind of pushed getting a general contractor, but Randy, jump in here anytime. It's like, I think we can handle it. I don't know. But you get a general contractor, he's gonna sub it all out anyway.
It's just another expense too.
He's got his on top of that, so. but we'll see. I'll get a copy of those drawings out to everybody so they can see it. And then we're gonna wanna have like a public meeting this month. In the, well, not this month, right?
We're organized. Want to make sure we're organized.
They've got a video, in fact, PCDC paid for it, a virtual, like, you go through, it goes through the whole complex with people walking around and everything. I mean, it's really neat.
Did they do that for ours or is that Carney's?
They did it for ours, but they called it Patriot Park.
Basically kind of the same look, though. It's like a drone.
Oh, yeah.
Flying around, and, I mean, the kids are out there playing catch, and people are walking down the sidewalk. It's really, we saw the one they did for Carney. It's something the public would like to see. We're making progress, we're just gonna be done right, it's gonna take some time.
Yeah, and that's what, everybody wants it done now. But you need to do it right. I mean, we're not gonna just throw something together and then you're gonna have more complaints than that, anything else. But we'll go with that. Okay. We're kind of into the expenses now. On the wages, I went through what I do with the budget. I take the latest monthly budget report I get, and I go through and look at the percentages of what I've spent and what percentage we are through the year. We're like 75% through the year. And I look through it, and I changed them all. So I didn't, I added some. I took some off of some, just going through that. I figured out from 2% to a 3% cost of living, but I didn't put it in there yet. Decide what we want to do. Health insurance, I did nothing. I left it the same as last year because I don't know yet. And probably won't. It'll probably be a guess. I'll call, later on, this month, I'll call Jason and see if he's got an idea. He's got some, he's got some ideas about changing some things that could possibly reduce what we're paying now. I know we got a report that everything's looking good so far. We haven't had any big claims that we know of. So right now, the numbers are the same as they were last year. Work comp and liability is the same, because we haven't heard from them yet either, so we left that the same. Now I'm back on the revenues, back on the revenues in the general fund, they're more than last year, and basically that's because of the beginning cash balance. And also, if you look under the TIF property tax, under the general fund, I've used 95,000. That's always been kind of what it was, but we're up to about 200,000 now. But that's kind of a in and out, so it offsets itself. But to make the budget, get the budget up to where it should be, I increase that. So that's part of it, the beginning cash balance, and then increasing the TIF property tax. Okay. On the expense side. On the admin, the expenses are up because I increased the tip payments out there. So that's basically the increase in that. The fire, basically, the fire is the same as last year. I left the $7,500 in there.
Did we,
I've been talking to Mary about it,
okay.
What was that for?
splitting them out more. Ambulance versus fire.
Well, it's tax base and whatever.
Health and sanitation, it's up about $70,000 from last year. And basically what I did there was I doubled what I had down on capital outlay. I doubled recycling center from 70 to 140,000 because they're telling us they need a new baler. So,
We're in the process of trying to get a grant for one. I did talk to the company that we have now, and it's around 70,000, 75,000 for a new baler. And the grant we're applying for is at 7525. But I don't know if we'll get it done this fiscal year or next fiscal year. We're still in the process. I think the grant has to be submitted to the DEQ by September 1st.
but I put that in there in case, we don't get a grant or something like that, so.
Ken, when did we get the last one?
That's in 2011.
Yeah.
The company that works on it comes out of Kansas City, so it's pretty pricey for them to come work on it. But what they have told me out there, that's kind of nickel and diming us, and that's one thing they do need is a cardboard baler. And the one we're looking at can do cans and what other things besides cardboard, but that would be one thing that would need replaced.
And we did get a grant for the last one, And they, I did have a visit from a gentleman, Jerry, somebody with Crossroads in Carter, the homeless shelter. They're partnering up with Mosaic. And they're gonna put a baler out at the wood shop, Mosaic's wood shop, and they're gonna bale clothes. And so, but no cost to us. They're just gonna do that, they just come in to let us know what they were doing out there, so. He thought it was a good deal with them. I didn't, and apparently must be kind of in recycling a little bit. But they send these clothes all over the world. In Kearney, they partnered up with the city. And Kearney's got a huge recycling center over there. Well, they said, well, why don't you just let us use our baler? And the way I understood from him, he said they were baling and then they were cutting them in half. These bales, he said, well, it was ripping all the clothes out. And they'd have to tear the bales all apart, so they quit doing that. That must have been when they partnered up with Mosaic. But let's see. Community development. We got a little less because I took some money out of capital outlay, which I did this, which I'm gonna probably end up putting it all back in. Because like now, you know, I show our cash reserve, we're almost $895,000 to the good. And when I started this budget process, we were 400 grand in the hole. So that's kind of started robbing from the capital improvements, and then it'll be back down. It's just Mary and I have to check with the lid and see what happens there. That's the biggest thing in the whole budget process. Public buildings, 100,000 less than last year. Took it out of capital improvements. We're gonna have to slim that. I basically took 50,000 out of municipal building improvements and 50,000 out of library repairs. Now, I may have to relook the library repairs, because don't we have with the boiler? Okay.
Boiler, no, they cleaned it. We got a bid, a little $945 to clean it, and it was cleaned last week, so.
But the
Auditorium boiler was cracked, and we got an estimate from Rasmussen's of $27,000. And we would get stuff ordered to get it fixed. We get it for this time.
Already done the library?
Library's done. They
So
haven't.
that'll be on this.
It should be on this. Like I said, $945, and the auditorium is not quite. They have not contacted me yet with all the parts.
Chances are it'll probably be in the next fiscal year,
It could be.
after September 30th. And the auditorium is about 40,000 less from decreasing the capital improvements. I've still got it, there's still $150,000 in there. You know, what we need to do,
We can move that money around a little bit.
oh, we can move this, all of it,
Some other,
except fire. Just kidding, Jeff. Just-
Randy?
I think at some point in time, we're gonna have to make a decision on this auditorium. What's gonna go on? I mean, it just keeps draining dollars year after year. It's not used that much. It's either you're gonna end up putting a bunch of money into it and get it fixed up right, or do something else with it. It's just a drain every year.
And if they move forward with this event center they're looking
Yeah.
at,
That would help.
yeah.
right?
I didn't hear what Doug said, I was just gonna mention, PCDC's got a big plan to do something like that, don't they?
Yeah, that's what I was just mentioning.
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Well, it's kind of like a community service, kind of like a swimming pool. You know, like, take a lot of money in for it. It's something that the community needs, wants.
Oh, yeah.
Well, before we fill it every year, Kim and I go there and just throw money into it. And we fill it up.
If you notice, there's nothing in the budget for dynamite or nitro gas.
Kim's talking new pool, but I'm gonna be going with that. In the parks are less this year, because if you'll notice under the capital outlay, on page 12, the ball field improvements, we had the $1,025,000 in there this fiscal year. Well, Mary and I, we got to talk, and we figured we probably in this fiscal year, we'll spend about $300,000. And so I put 70, there's 70 in there, so that's why it's less. And that's from the bond we got. On that, I think we've only spent, Mary she figured out with everything, we probably spent about $300 and some thousand in this fiscal year. We spent $165,000 on the dirt work. They had it was 159, I think, or something. And then they had a change order for some more pipe and something, put in some more storm drain pipe, so. The pool. I think I took some out of capital improvements there too. Yeah, but there's still $200,000 in there, and we're gonna need a new heater for the pool. I don't know what,
42.
But it won't, we're not gonna do it now, we'll wait till, next spring or something. The library will be here later. Right now in the budget, I put a 3% increase. That's usually what they come and ask for. So that's what I have in the budget right now. Emergency communications dispatch, they're higher this year. I added some to the wages. We had a tremendous amount of overtime this year because we didn't have that many. One pay period, I think one dispatcher had 54 hours of overtime. And that's just hire somebody.
Too much.
I mean, drag them off the street, I don't care, but that's why I upped the, not a lot, maybe $5,000, hoping that we would have enough dispatchers, we cover that. Police, it's higher than last year, because going through, like I said, I go through the last monthly update, budget update, and I increased wages on there because we were behind. So I increased, because they've had some overtime too. Because we have officers leaving. We've had one that's been out, but we've been paying. It wasn't work on, thank God. You still know that.
We've had a lot of issues with dispatchers and police officers this year with training the new ones, and they had a lot of overtime.
It's almost like we gotta do something about hiring.
What's that?
I said, it's almost like we gotta do something to attract talent.
It's, since I've been here, Mary, it's kind of, you hire them. It seems like we train them and then they move on.
It's hard for us to compete with somebody like Carney.
Yeah.
I drive to Kearney for higher wages.
A lot of them enjoy the action.
Our police department also don't have to pay any insurance.
Yeah,
So
and
that's not figured in our wages.
And I don't know what other communities do as far as health insurance with their officers. I could get on the listserv and check and see what they do. I do have, since you brought it up there, I did get on the listserv. this is what I got for police wages. But like Doug mentioned, I don't know about health insurance. Because that would make a big difference. We are low, you'll notice.
I guess we better find out about the benefits packages that the other towns are providing. We can't
they're-
have we can't have half a police force full of brand new people with no experience. So what have we gotta do to attract and retain experienced officers?
Of course, it's kind of like, Mary, it's kind of like city administrators, they go to a little town and then they keep looking for bigger and bigger and bigger.
Stepping
and just
stone.
keep moving on, no matter how well you treat them.
Really, we didn't have a lot of
no.
turnover till recently. You look at the years, a lot of our officers,
Retiring.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, you look like Warner and Herbert and all these
Yeah,
guys.
those have stayed
Yeah.
alone.
You look at those who've left though, you know, for multiple reasons. One didn't like the shift work here, she went to the county. Took a step down. One who's been traveling back and forth from Kearney for 12 years, went to Buffalo County. One went to Papillion to be closer to his girlfriend, fiancée. We can't stop that.
I'm not necessarily saying they're leaving because of the low wages, although
No.
if that were the case, you couldn't blame them. I'm saying, as we advertise for applicants, we're not getting very many serious, interested people. And when we do get someone that we maybe are gonna like, they end up going someplace else, and that's someplace
And
else.
Kearney has the same issue.
I think, Larry, you could probably attest to that. Is there that many officers out there?
I think this year, well, right now the patrol camp's is going, and I think there's 17 vacancies, we only got 14 at camp. I mean, it's that way down.
Well, they're getting so many black eyes and,
Oh, yeah.
you know, nobody wants to do it anymore. Because,
Yeah.
you know, they're afraid to pull a gun for fear that they're gonna be sued.
I can't believe we get anyone to carry a gun for $16.82 an hour.
They love us. You know, we had one back a few years ago, Clint Elwood. And he kept calling me, begging me to hire him. I said, we don't have any open. He had worked with Dennis in Shadron, because he went to school at Shadron State. He was at North Platte at the time. He really didn't like North Platte. And he wanted to work with Dennis. Well, then we hired him, then he goes to State Patrol.
That was in North Platte.
Yes. North Platte.
That's right.
But it's no different than our linemen. And a lot of that, I hate to say it, it's girlfriends, you know, that can't find a job here or something, and find one in Lincoln or Beatrice. I think we lost one to Beatrice, and but we've had good linemen, and we got good linemen. I can't say anything bad about them. I mean, they do a good job. Brian does a good job with them.
Most of our recent police hires have local connections, local ties. But I still want to pay them what we can't pay them what they're worth, but we need to
And I think,
be in the ballpark.
Rod will have to, I think will this have to be part of negotiations, Rod? If we look at something like this?
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to get some data. I mean, you're gonna have to find out what
Benefits?
benefits we've got. I don't know if the Norfolk survey has all that. I think it does.
Yeah, it does.
You're gonna have to get the latest Norfolk survey and do some comparing, and that's gonna have to be entered into negotiations. And let's say you give the police a 10% across the board raise, well, you've automatically told me that I'm gonna have a hell of a problem with our other union, the IBEW. I mean, that's just a fact of life.
Tell them to apply to the police department.
Huh?
Tell them to apply to the police department.
One time we were kind of talking together, you know, about the percentages and all that. We kind of kept them even. I don't know, did you got that letter where the police are asking for 4%, and then they want some kind of longevity past 10 years, because our pay scale, they top out fairly quick because they get these merit raises and they top out. And they're asking the council consider that down the road, so it might be you can get by cheaper than you're thinking. In other words, if you're thinking 8-10% to bring them anywhere near comparability, you might want to take them up on their 4% offer, knowing that the IBEW is going to jump all over that. And you'll have to deal with that. That's just, we're just going to have to play it, let it play it.
Right.
I mean, you could get yourself a labor and employment survey, wage and hour benefit study from Paul Espin. I've kind of prodded that for several years, but everybody says, well, for 15 grand we can give our employees a raise, you know, and that's absolutely true. So, I mean, it's real expensive to do that, but, you know, I think you can patch together enough of the Norfolk survey to give you an idea where you are at, so you know how you want to respond to, like, the FOB's offer of 4%.
Well, and you can use the Norfolk survey at the CIR now.
Yeah, but,
Or you can use your own.
yeah, but when you use the Norfolk survey, it's all first-class cities. The survey that you can get by with is part first class and part second class. Well, the second class cities are going to pay less than the first class cities. But, you know, your competition is state patrol, sheriff's offices. I mean,
That's, they used to go by twice your population, or
Right.
half your population.
right. And that helped wages way down, but we're out of that game now. I mean, I think everybody's really scared to go to the CIR because you can have some disastrous results anymore.
I just want to make sure we look at the benefits, because that could put us at the top, who knows? And until we do that, we
Well,
won't.
that's,
Yeah, no, that's true.
I want to make sure.
as, if you're paying 15% of their health insurance, so you're not paying for the regular employees.
No, I mean, look at everything, all
Yeah.
benefit package.
Yeah.
And I didn't, Jeff, when I went on the list with the other administrator, you know, I just asked for wages, I didn't.
Yeah.
And
I
after
mean,
I
I
did
know-
it, I thought, well, I should have.
I know our benefits are pretty good, so,
Oh, yeah.
so it means something, so.
Yeah, and the new CIR rules talk about total compensation,
Yep.
which
Yep.
includes
Everything.
everything, benefits, health insurance, health savings accounts, all that.
That's what we need to look at.
Just not wages anymore.
Not just wages.
Yeah, not just wages. Moving on. Street expenses are more. Basically, the reason they're more is because of balancing the street budget. And I had to increase on page 22. How we balance the street budget is under capital outlay, you see pavement reserve. We're up to $1,000,007, where last year we were $1,003,000, so that's the big increase in the street. The street has a lot of overtime too. I think I bumped some of the wages up in the street. Because they had to go out and tear up the streets for all the water leaks we had, which accounts for all the overtime we had in the water department so far this year.
You mentioned that, Bob. Do we have project in the water department for replacing some of the main line here on East Avenue?
We don't have enough money right now.
We kind of talked about that a little bit.
I got a price estimate, and it was, I think, 1.6, and that's from 4th Avenue to 11th.
We'll just keep fighting leaks.
Yeah, that's about all we can do right now.
Triple the rates.
It would be nice if we could afford to have a plan of changing out X amount of main a year,
I
but
agree.
Yes, Dave.
he's just,
I think you're gonna have to phase it.
yeah.
I mean, we're so far behind the 8 ball right now for the water department.
Just have to put down fires and that's all you can do.
And I don't know, Kim and I have talked about it too. I think some of it might be because of the 4th Avenue.
Absolutely. I've talked about it with the water department, and especially that last leak we had over on Burlington by the park, shutting and opening valves that we haven't done for a while. It's really putting a strain on some of our pipe, and it's getting knocked, and
Takes that pressure off and then you hit it back.
Hit it
again.
back.
You get that surge when you shut
And
it
that's-
off, and you
that
turn
was
it
a-
back on, and it's just,
that's been all the cause of our water leaks, so.
When they turn those back on, they do kind of ease it in, don't they, or do they just? Or is it a
See,
type of
what
valve they
employees
just
do,
can't-
I don't know what Van Kirk's employees do.
Yeah,
But we try as much as possible.
because I know looking as far as in the gas area where I come from, you always just kind of slowly feed it up and let it build till you start getting up to your pressures, so
I think they probably do.
probably just crank it open
That
and
wouldn't surprise me.
put a hell of a
They
stress
probably want
on
to
it.
get out of here so bad.
When the meters jump out of the ground a ways.
Just think what Dave Hamilton would have said tonight.
Oh, yeah, maybe I was gonna mention, Dave's rolling in his grave right now.
He's looking down on us, laughing.
Water
You
department,
still
big
have-
issue with him.
Get you still haven't figured that out yet. The problem we're running into, you get into, a lot of our water system is so old, and it's everywhere.
Every community.
Every community. I read an article where it's gonna take, I don't know how many billions of dollars all across the United States to fix the sewer and water infrastructure, so.
Well, what Mendon got hit with there a couple of years ago, wasn't it, that they had issues and had to change a bunch out or whatever?
I think they had something in there.
Yeah, it was turning their water brown or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they got a real iron problem. And I think they got, I don't think they have nitrates, Kim, do they have nitrates or some phosphorus or something? They got iron and.
Yeah, they have something.
Because Minden has a water treatment plant. But the water was still brown.
It was still
So,
It's called a pale ale.
Go ahead.
Landfill expenses are less, basically going through there, like I said, going through the monthly budget. I'm basically going through trying to cut wherever I can.
How's our rates for our landfill?
We're right there. We stay just under Hastings.
Yeah, we just raised them,
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
probably a year ago, November or something.
Yeah.
See, we stay, I don't know, if we're $1.50 below Hastings, because we don't want to lose Minden. Because Minden's halfway between Hastings and Holdridge. And my fellow administrator at Hastings gives me heck all the time. Every time I'll ask him, I'll say, what's your landfill rate? He goes, I'm not telling you. The electric, it's about the same as last year. I'm just trying to keep everything the same. We don't have any, we've got money in there, something that Brian and I wanna do. We've got 2 switches on our 34.5, which we talked about a couple of years ago. I think one's out by R7, and one's by the east side. They don't know if they're gonna work, and that's how we switch to town when we have an outage somewhere. And we had a price from IES, and Brian and the guys didn't wanna do it because they wanna finish the rest of the ring bust around town. But I don't think we can wait anymore. The one at the east side, it's so hard to do. Brian is the only one that can do it. He's the only one that's got muscle enough to
It's not safe
switch
anymore.
it. No, but we did put ground grids around all the switches, which we never had before. But I think that east side, Brian's got but they also have the bucket truck and they help push it when Brian's switching it. So I told Brian, talk to IES again, let's get Dan Sherman. And see, there's something about the wires sagging or something that it might twist, They like to put switches on while they're putting new line in. If you got old line, something about, you hook them up, switches will twist and then they won't. But Brian's gonna talk to Dan Sherman about that, see if we can get by. Because we need to, that's the one thing I wanna get done next
You're
year.
gonna hurt somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Any idea what those switches cost, Bob?
It was, I think the bid we had was 68,000 for the 2 of them. It wasn't that bad.
No.
And IAS would do it. I mean, our people cannot do it. I mean, that's high voltage stuff that, we don't like our guys working with. But in the end, they've got to run. And if you can't switch this down, you're basically out, everybody's down.
Well, that 68,000's a drop in the bucket, actually, for what it could end up costing us.
Oh, yeah.
Between getting somebody hurt or not being able to switch.
Because one of them, Brian, we had Chris Hager, MPPD, he's our account manager, he was over here and we were talking to him about doing the switches and he thought it shouldn't be a problem. Brian said, well, the one it's got a wood something, and he goes, what? He said, how old is that thing?
The pole.
They just wait for that wood to just break. Then you can't. If worse comes to worse, you can get in the bucket truck and you can manually switch it, but it's not real safe.
I don't like to hear that.
Should be done.
Go ahead.
Gotta worry about arc flash and it's nasty.
The water, expenses are less this year, trying to cut. And like I said before, we had a ton of overtime for all the water works. Seems like they always happen on weekends and holidays and nights.
Had a lot of overtime, but we've also had a lot of rain. We haven't had a lot of revenue, I don't think.
No,
That's hurt us too.
it's gotta quit raining.
Not yet.
Well, we're not selling any power to the business either.
Yeah, I know.
In the sewer, it's about the same as last year, I just kept it about there, about the same. So until, this is a quick overview until Mary and I go through and see how we can fit the lid. Then come back and there'll probably be a whole lot of changes. Be nice if we had. some extra, I could throw in some other places. Any questions?
Well, I presume we're not gonna do anything with the council chambers then, with remodeling them.
Well, it's, let me look under, there's still, in public buildings, there's still got, capital improvements, you know, I got 50 grand, but, you know, you can always move that around. You know, I got 15 grand in furniture and fixtures, you could put that in 50 grand, that's 65. But it'd probably take more than that, Andy, I don't know.
It depends on how downstream we go. I'm gonna try to get that information to all of you. I've got a lot of it at the shop.
I still got that drawing, Randy.
Yeah. I've got some pictures.
Okay.
I know we talked about it for
I'd
a
like
long
to
time, it'd be nice to have
We
that.
talked about it for,
It's been 20 years, Larry.
Short after I came on, you kind of told me what you were thinking.
It can be done.
It can be done, yeah.
It'll lay out in here okay.
It's gonna be tight, but
Yeah, it's not, I mean, it's gonna be somewhat expensive, but not something you can't do. I think we can get it done, I really do.
Will you send me what you have, please?
Yes. I have pictures and stuff too.
I can't see spending 65 grand when,
Well, you could go buy some tables and set up, but I don't wanna do that. I want it
Well,
to be
we got-
professionally done. This building deserves that.
I don't want to spend 50 cents on it.
I'm not saying buy cheap stuff, I'm saying 65 grand is too much.
I'm just saying we have 65 grand in.
It's not equal to say we'll spend, it's just.
So don't spend that much.
155.
Tell you what, we'll all put our wages back into the pot, and then you can spend whatever you want on new chairs and fancy stuff in here.
We were supposed to get new chairs 10 years ago.
yeah. I know.
Well, I tried,
I keep
once,
thinking-
you guys said no.
I did.
You must have got that.
I don't know where it was.
That's what happened.
I don't know how much got burned right up on it.
Budget hearing is over.
John?
Done.